Microphone check. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me try this. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, she came in here. I think that's what she did. Awesome. Then. I have your clicker here whenever you're ready for it. I'd like to just get you wired up.
Awesome. Thank you. No, I got it. Is it already? It's already on. Okay, cool. Hello? Hello? I already got it all set up for you, man. All right, so we're gonna flip and fold that down, turn it on. Yeah. And then that's not it. Which one is it? What- Oh yeah, here we go. So all right, here on is the height and zoom.
Oh, that's the zoom that's on the side.
Yeah. And then you just move it. If you double click this, it'll just crack.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like what?
there's a triggered.
Okay.
Or maybe you hold it. Maybe you hold it and then it'll do like a box. And it'll just crack it, or you can just use this thing. And then the zoom is on the side.
Okay.
Wait. And then we'll fold this out so I have a couple reference points too. I just want some reference points. Sweet, and then you can have your day back after the. Now I feel like the pressure's on because I got like so much good feedback from yesterday's. Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, pressure's on. Try holding that trigger in for a minute and see if it catches. Is there like a little box that comes up? Now if I move, will it follow? Oh man. I forget what the. Yeah. Sweet, right? Yeah. Yeah, you might be better off just controlling it with the little joystick thing. Here, I'll turn around. Did it do it? Alright. It's like my camera at home. Got your 3 to 5 things that you want to execute when you get back? No more than 5 though. So take those 5 and prioritize them. In week 1, you make sure you execute that top priority. That's the trick. Because you'll get like 20 things that you'll want to execute from here. It's not doable. It's not doable. Austin? Did you? He's awesome. He's gonna what? Oh yeah. He's really like. So what's that?
You can before you start or after you're done for everybody that needs to do, just make an announcement. Tell everybody to get a gold name tag and the gold badge
Okay.
that there is lunch provided in the bar.
Okay.
during lunchtime.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
super productive.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Gold badge. Main ballroom. Yeah. It like gets really cool when you really learn how to use it, which I still have not. What time is it? We might have a small group today. Nobody wants to learn about profit, I guess. How do I blow this up? No idea. It won't. I don't carry business cards. You just send people your. I just text them my contact card. Wait, we want it that way. Just use the joystick. Is it working? Yeah, don't record now. Oh, do we have a clicker? Cool. Yeah, exactly. It's awesome for like, you'll see like when I have my editor do it, like it makes for like a really nice recruiting thing. You know what I mean? Time's it now? 9:30. Just unclick it, or we could turn it off and turn it back on. Awesome. Do I have enough mic here? Is there a way to adjust it up a little bit? Is there a way to adjust the mic up a little bit, or can you hear me well? Okay. Oh, it is? Okay. I got the announcement. Oh, okay. We have like 12 people who want to learn how to have a profitable business. That's awesome. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me well? Okay, cool. So yesterday class, the class I did yesterday on the secret of sales, like every seat was filled. But what I think is more important, we have like 12 people, but I congratulate you 12 for being here because, right, we're as realtors. Well, let me start out with this. Have you guys heard of the entrepreneurs motto? Anyone familiar with entrepreneurs motto? The motto is this: I started out with nothing and I still have some of it left. Is anyone facing that in their current business? Me too. Me too. Interestingly enough, when Michael and Ron asked me what I wanted to present on, obviously yesterday it was like psychology of sales. I love that. It's a passion of mine. But my second thing that I wanted to teach about is profit and having a profitable business. And can anyone guess why I wanted to teach about that? Well, because I want to learn it myself. Right? We spend realtors, we love shiny objects. Shiny objects. We get those calls from those telemarketers, and they're like, hey, if I could show you a way to get 10 new listings next month and it only would cost you $8,000, would you be interested? And we're all up for that, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about So I had two incredible role models in my life. My dad, number one, butcher for 35 years, hardest working man on the face of the planet, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So what I learned from him was an incredible work ethic, which is a very valuable lesson. And he's a great guy, and I look up to him for many reasons. One reason I do not look up to him is because he did not know how to save money. He never put, and the man did pretty well. He averaged $8,000 a year, and I'm talking 90s. So when you're making 80 grand a year in the 90s, you're doing pretty well, right? But there was a couple things wrong with the way that he approached life and business and money. Number one, his son didn't know him because he was always at work, right? And again, he did teach me about work ethic, which carries me through, and I've done a lot of phenomenal things in my life because of that example that he set for me. So let's go to role model number two, my father's or my mother's father, my grandfather. This man was a high school teacher. I don't even know how much he made, probably 30 grand a year, right? He had a different philosophy. He wanted to take his money and he wanted to put his money to work for him, right? So he spent time with his children. When he retired, he was taking motorcycle tours in Italy. He had all the toys. I remember as a child going to his house in Ohio, farmhouse, and helping him clean out his pond, and we were having seaweed wars, and so he got to create those memories because he had time. But he made almost a third of what my father made, and God bless the man. He passed away 6 months ago. He was a teacher, a high school teacher in Ohio. Never any side gigs. He left his 5 children about $1.5 million because he put his money to work from a very young age. And so that's what I want to bring today is I hope the value that you get out of this. We work hard and we have these systems for everything. We have a system for how to get more listings. We have a system to improve our brand. We have a system basically for everything. But I would venture to say that most of the people sitting here right now do not have a system on how to manage their money. That by a show of hands, how many people in this room have 3 reserves on hand? Keep your hand up if it's 6 months. Keep your hand up if it's 12 months. So kudos to you if you have 12-month reserves. Would everyone agree that we're heading into maybe a little bit rougher time where reserves are what's going to get us through? I started doing this in 2005. I went through the 2007 and the 2008 market. It was hard. It was really hard. If I didn't have reserves back then, I would not have made it through. I was watching realtors who in 2005 were bringing home $500,000 a year. And by 2009, they were out of the industry selling furniture. And that's not what I want for you guys. So I want to teach you a different way of doing things. I don't want you to end up like my father, living on a $2,000 per month pension and $1,000 in Social Security per month that can't do anything in his golden years because of the way that he spent and his philosophy about money. Does this make sense to you guys? Cool. So profit first. I mean, Club Wealth talks about it a lot, and they say, just get one more listing. It'll solve every problem you have. Have you guys heard that? And while it's true, it's not a be all. You don't, you, you shouldn't have to have that mindset. Right? So let's get started. Has anyone read the book Profit First? Yes, nice. So you already know the concepts. Okay, has anyone taken action after reading the book? Good man. Awesome. How's it working for you? It's way better. So I when I went to college, I was a psychology major. There was 2 classes when I went to college that I just couldn't grasp the concepts. That was accounting 1 and accounting 2. Made absolutely no sense to me at all. I would imagine, being that we have a room full of realtors, that none of us are really that good at accounting, if I had to guess. Taking a wild stab at it. A lot of us are kind of like ADD, and our minds are thinking bigger picture, and the tedious line items and things like that. It's just not really our style, right? So I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. So why profit first? It's cool. It's really, really cool to work on getting up on main stage at Club Wealth and get the award for breaking through to 300 units plus, breaking the tier 4, breaking the tier 5. But I'd like to ask you, is that what's important? Why are we doing this? Are we doing it to walk up on stage and collect an award for units sold? Is that why you guys are doing it? We're doing it for money, right? We're doing it to support the kind of lifestyle that we want to live. But if we're constantly just trying to spend our way to success, which I've got 17 years doing this, I've seen multiple realtors that they'll close, $30 million in real estate and make $100,000 in profit. Yes. I know realtors that spend $20,000 a month just on Zillow leads. But I think the ego kind of comes into play, and they thrive off of, well, I did all this volume, and my peers now think I'm just the greatest in the world. But I think a lot of times we just get distracted. We don't want to, if you want to work for someone else's dream just to be competitive, then my advice to you is to just go get a job. How many business owners do I have in the room? Okay. I was expecting only like 30 to put your hand up. That's good. At least you all realize that you're a business owner. So what are the golden keys of money? So pay yourself first. Do I have any team leads in here? How many of you are paying yourself before anything else gets paid? The number one priority is that you get paid first. 2, good job. There's a lot of team leads, and I'm pretty involved in the Club Wealth ecosystem, have not taken any money for a year for themselves. And it all goes back to the business. Myself included. I made the same mistake. Peanuts. Yeah. We go without, a lot of us have gone without. And gone without a lot of things to try and build. So this is a new way to look at it. Like, who's putting everything on the line? Who's the one on your team that's working 90 hours a week? I guarantee it's not your admin that's probably making more money than you are. In my case, earlier this year, both of my admins individually were making more than I was paying myself. Not combined, individually. Like they both made more than I did. So that's why I wanted to teach this, because I think it's important. So obviously you spend less than you earn. This is really important. You can get an opportunity to finally remove yourself from that hamster wheel of constantly chasing. Well, if I just get this one more sale, everything's going to be all right. I just need to get one more sale and then everything's going to be great. And doesn't it turn in? Does anyone in the room, like, can you identify with that thinking? Has anyone had that thinking before? Yeah. It's not a good feeling, is it? It's not. Right? Right? It's not how much you make that's important. What is important is how much you teach. And I think that's why we're sitting in this room. Right? We could have GCI of 1 million and then have 100,000 net profit. That just doesn't make sense. Why are we killing ourselves? If you're a team lead and you're like me, like I kill myself. I'm just working constantly. I'm stressing. I'm doing all that so that everyone else can thrive. My vendors can thrive. My admin can thrive. My agents can thrive. And then I get the short end of the stick. It just doesn't make sense. You have to reward yourself for all the hard work that you're putting into this. This is really the only reason to be in business. It's to make the money to live your dream life. Otherwise, why are we in business? There's a lot of times has anyone in the room ever felt like, had those days where you feel like you just have an expensive hobby? Oh, I'm the only one. Or I'm the only one that'll admit to it. So I'm gonna just pick on a couple people around the room here. If you could improve one thing about your financial situation, what would it be? More profitable team. The emergency fund. Yeah. And I think a lot of us might have to tap into that emergency fund in the near future here. Yeah. You, sir? Pay yourself more. Do you mind if I put you on the spot and do you pay yourself a certain percentage or a fixed salary, right? Fixed salary. And do you mind if I ask what that is? 3,300 a month. And do you have admin support? Virtual. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna be very vulnerable here, and the majority of this year I had myself on a $48,000 a year salary. I have 2 full-time admins that are both at 55 a piece. And so I woke up one day and I'm just kind of scratching my head and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Well, I've made a lot of changes. Since that point, but yeah, no, yeah, we do have BA staff now. But it wasn't until I really to digging into this, that, and when things are good and we, like my team has a huge GCI, but that was great, right? But then it doesn't, when I'm only making 48,000 a year, it will, like, how does that jive? It just doesn't. It doesn't. And that's why I wanted to do this today. We talked about having the expensive hobby. So pretty much all morning during main stage, we talked about habit, daily habits, daily habits, daily habits. We all have daily habits to make more money. Do we have daily habits to keep our money? Are we constantly doing a check-in and looking at how the money is being spent? Is there an ROI? You have to pay yourself first. You have to spend less than you earn. You have to have that savings, that reserve fund. And and I think this is on the next slide, but I want you to stop thinking of every expenditure. I want you to stop thinking of it as a business expense. It's a business investment. When you invest money, you expect a return on that money, correct? So remove the word business expense from your vocabulary and replace it with business investment. Now you're going to start tracking your ROI. So now we're going to get into the concepts here. These are the accounts. So you're going to go to the bank. I went to my local credit union. I opened 5 accounts. So I have my main account is my income account. All my GCI, my coaching money, everything flows into the income account. Twice a month, I drain it almost down to zero. There's 4 other accounts that money goes to. What's the first one? What did we talk about should be the top priority? Owner pay. Owner pay. So if you bring in 10K for the month, the percentage that we allocate, that percentage is going to go to you first, even if other stuff doesn't get their money. Profit. We're in business to make a profit, correct? So profit is that second account that's going to take priority. You guys like to pay taxes? Are you usually struggling to pay them? Do I have people in the room that are struggling to pay taxes, and when March rolls around, you don't have enough saved? No one's willing to admit it. Perfect. I know that there's a ton of realtors. They may not be in this room, but there's a lot of realtors that nothing saved. They didn't account for anything throughout the whole entire year. March rolls around and they're scrambling. They're like, oh my gosh, I have a $40,000 tax bill. What am I going to do? And if you don't think it's common, you're sadly mistaken. There's a ton of realtors out there. I'm sure Austin knows and can agree. Now, your profit and your tax account, those accounts are like out of sight, out of mind accounts. You're not going to look at them. You're only going to look at them once a quarter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where they're at. Your business account. This is what you use to pay your employees and your vendors, your yard signs. And again, I should have replaced that word expenses with investments. So here's how it works. All your commission checks flow into that income account. You're going to empty that income account twice per month. Your profit account, you're only going to, again, it's your out of sight, out of mind account. You're not looking at the balance. It's like stock. Just leave it there. your owner pay, and your tax account. Now, when I went and set these up, I made my profit account and my tax account, I made them money market accounts just so I could get a higher yield interest rate. So profit, tax, pick an account that yields a higher interest rate because you're only touching it once a quarter, if that. You may not even every quarter. So how do you know what to pay yourself for owner's pay? Pretty easy. You just take what it costs to live for the last 3 months. Take the total and divide it by 3. That's your average. That's what you need to live. It's got to be able to cover your personal lifestyle, though. If you pay your owner self-insurance, that comes from the owner pay account. Your company retirement contributions to the owner, that comes from your owner pay. Those numbers have to be there to calculate that. Your personal business trips, your CW trips. Any expense that you run through the business for tax write-off, you could still use that and pay that out of your owner pay account. So pretty self-explanatory, right? For the business accounts or business expenses. Anyone out have any idea how they're going to calculate their business expenses? Good job, man. So smart. Yeah. Yeah. Owner trips, like personal trips, I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's personal stuff, even if you're using a tax write-off for it, but you're paying it from your personal account. Does that make sense? You don't pay anything out of your personal account that you take a tax write-off. Okay. Well, yeah. So I have a creative accountant too, and there's some expenses that we pay from the personal account that are still tax write-offs. Yeah. You'll find them. Yeah. If you have a good CPA, you'll find them. The business expenses though are just like your lead sources, your salaries, right? So there are going to still be some things that are in your personal, like obviously you're not going to pay your salaries out of your personal. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. So when you're setting up all these accounts, so now you went to your credit union or you went to your bank and you set up your 5 accounts. You've got your income account, you've got your owner pay account, your profit account, your tax account, your business expenses account. Now, when your first quarter that you do this, you're going to have your current allocations percentages. So like if you're currently at 83% on business expenses, that's what it's going to be. If you're currently stacking 5% away for taxes, if your owner's pay is 12%, and then if you have 0 profit. So you've got your current allocation percentages, and you've got your target. Where do you want to be? And this is not like an overnight. This is, again, when we talk about habits, when we form habits, there's slow and consistent daily things that we do to improve our business. So my point is, if these are your current percentages, the actual percentage, you're not gonna next month say, I'm going to cut my business expense percentage in half, because that's not feasible. Does that make sense, guys? So how we get there is you take your day zero, you're making, you see how you're taking 3% every quarter. You're going to take 3% away from that business expense. And you're going to take that 3% and you're going to add 1% to owner pay, profit, and tax. When you get your tax account to where it needs to be, then you're going to take that extra percentage. And since you're already where you need to be with your tax account, you're going to add it to profit. So you're limiting your expenses. And because there's money that's allocated in that account, you can't overspend because that's all the money that's in there. Has anyone ever heard that when you choose one thing, you give up another thing? Well, when you have a limited funds, this is what realtors do. We look at our account, we get that phone call from that telemarketer, realtor.com. Hey man, I got this great deal going on. I'm going to get you, I don't know, 40 leads next month for $2,000. And it's normally $3,000. And what do most realtors do? They go to their bank account. Oh man, I got like 50K sitting there. Yeah, cool. I can afford that. And we pull the trigger. But and I see you shaking your head. So if you don't do that, but I'm telling you right now, a lot of realtors do this. Yeah. So especially new ones. Exactly. So here's the best part of this. Because this percentage keeps going down and every quarter, this 83%, it becomes 80, then it becomes 77, then it becomes 74, then it becomes 71. So now you have a certain amount of money that you can spend, and you have to start making business choices as an investor. Remember, it's not let's throw as much money as we can so we can close more deals. Now it becomes, if I'm taking this call from this guy from realtor.com and I only have this certain money at a certain allocation for lead gen, now I have to make a choice. I'd have to give something else up to take on the new one. So now I'm looking at that investment much more closely. Is that making sense to you guys? Do you see how this could help save you a lot of money? And when you have to, again, when you choose one thing, you're saying no to another thing. And that's why I love this concept, because it forces you. So the TAPS, the target allocation percentage, is where you want to take your business. So like ideally for me, I want to be at 35% in my business expense account. 35% of my GCI will be allocated towards business expenses. My profit, I want to be at 20%. My owner pay, I don't even know. 10, I didn't think about it. But 10. And then I want my tax account to be at 15%, because it should be at 15%. So again, you're not going to take, so if you're currently spending 80% of your income on business expenses, you're not going to cut half of what you have in place and take it down to 40, because you'll implode your business by doing it that way. This is every quarter you're taking 3% from business and you're adding the 3% back into owner pay, owner profit, and tax. first quarter is your training period. The profit only exists when it's paid to you, the business owner. If it's not in its own separate account, it's really not profit. I mean, I use QuickBooks quite a bit. It doesn't really help me. I mean, I can track and see where the money's going, and I've got all the tags set up, and I can search by tags, and like, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I can see where every dollar went, but it doesn't limit me on my spending. Where this stuff, yes. Yeah, all five are at the same bank. Yeah. So you want to find, like, I went to a few different credit unions. I made sure, because again, you're draining that income account. So you want to make sure there's no minimum balance penalties. The credit union that I went to, because there's all five accounts, like they make it easy to transfer. And I'm going to show you in a minute how even every account is labeled. I have my taps in the account name in percentage, and I'll show you that in a minute here. So habits, again, main stage. Habits were discussed over. Did you notice that this morning? Like habits. How do we move the needle forward in our business? It's the daily habits. It's not these big expansive moves. It's these little adjustments that we're doing and we're changing on a daily basis. It's these habits. So every morning when you're waking up, these are the questions that you should be asking yourself. What can I do to reduce my expenses? What new strategic partnerships can I generate? What can I do to reduce the waste? How many in the room think that you could cut 10% of what you're currently spending on expenses right now today, and it wouldn't affect your business? I guarantee you can. I guarantee there's at least 10% of waste in there. Guaranteed. Again, every quarter, reduce the business expenses by 3%, and then bump up the actual owner pay, which is your tax account and your profit and your actual owner pay. Let's just get this all lined up. So you see in the account names, I've got my current percentage and I've got my tap. So every time I log in, I know where I'm trying to go. It's a constant reminder to me of where I'm trying to go. I'm at 20% here. I want to get to 40%. I'm at 60% here. I want to get to 40%. These are what your bank account should look like. Again, for me, I decided to do money markets with these two just because they get a little bit higher interest. Twice a month, we drain the account, 10th and the 25th day. Who likes to celebrate? Only 2 people in the room like to celebrate. Cool. All right, so has anyone in the room ever given themselves a bonus check? That's awesome. Hats off to you. So one person in the whole, so we're all business owners. Yeah. Yeah. So we did agree in the very beginning that we're business. I would assume that in several other business categories, the owners are giving themselves they're taking a bonus check at some point. But why are we in the real estate industry as realtors? Why are we not allowed to do that? Why are we not focused on doing that? Why are we not focused on taking care of ourselves for all the hard work and the effort that we put into this? Is that a valid question? 100%. Yeah. So if you had a profit account that was getting stacked every month, would you worry about that as much? Right. And that's why we're here. That's why the 12 people in the whole conference decided to walk into this room today. The 12 smart people, yes, yes. So again, every quarter, you're just gonna bump the percentages. You're gonna take 3% from the expense, and you're gonna give 1% to owner pay, profit, tax. When you get your tax up to 15%, just leave it at 15%. Take that extra 1%, give it to the profit. We talked about that earlier. Stop using the word expense. Everything that you spend money on is now an investment. Everything that you spend money on is now an investment. When you invest in something, you have to have a return. If there's no return, you're not going to make the investment, right? We talked about that. Whenever you choose one thing, you give up another. So if you're choosing something that gives you 150% ROI, you're giving up something else that could possibly give you a 750% ROI. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we get into this a little bit later. So that's why you're building your profit account, right? Profit, you don't want it to sit in a money. I have it sit in a money market account because I want it to gain as much while it's sitting there. But once it's large enough, you're pulling it and you're investing 110%. And I would suggest everyone in the room, since we're all realtors, would invest in real estate, because that's what we know best, and we're in a great opportunity. We run into the opportunities quite often. So I like this. So put your big adult pants on and show your cashews buff. And I also like that. You cannot spend your way to success. There's been many realtors that have tried to do it before, and it works for maybe a couple of years. It doesn't last very long. So when you're looking at your investments, again, not expenses, when you're looking at your investments, you're looking at the payback, you're looking at the rate of the return. If it's not greater than 100%, obviously kick it to the curb. This is really important. When you're looking at ROI, you also want to be factoring in the time and the hassle to get the ROI. It might have a great ROI, but if it's a time suck and it's just like pulling teeth to make it happen, it's still not worth it. Oh, 3 minutes. Wow. So ROI tracking, this is how you do it. So you go through and you do your lead source, the net commission. And I say net commission because if you're a team lead, you're looking at the money that's coming back to you. So instead of gross commission. The marketing is what it costs you to get the lead. The cost of the sale is your photos, your sign install, your video, your Facebook marketing. Then you have your return, which gives you your ROI. We should be doing this for every lead source that we have. Austin, I'm going to pick on you because I can almost guarantee that you do this. Ah, yeah. That's why you pay somebody else to do it. Yeah. All right. This is the end, so I'm just gonna go through this real quick. Who's ever looked at a profit and loss statement? Okay. Do you think this might be an easier way? Now, so you've got all your income. You've got your owner pay, your profit, your tax. So your total owner's money is 70K. Your percentage that was available for business was 30K. You only spent 20 of it. So now you actually got 10 grand in your surplus account. So that can go either back in your profit account, or you can create a whole new account. And for your question, maybe that's this is my real estate investment account. So this is the only way that your business, guys, this is the only way that your business will be permanently profitable. Chasing more listings, chasing more listings, chasing more listings will keep you going, but it's not going to make you profitable. We need to be more focused on the money that we're keeping. I don't think enough of us really are. You'll sleep better at night. Cash reserve, stabilize your business. Cash is king. As you build your cash reserves, you're going to just have more clarity, more confidence, and just live a more relaxed life. And that's what I want for you guys. So I'll open up to questions real quick. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 If I'm doing, so I did this, I've only done it like a few months ago, keep in mind, but I just keep putting in the percentages that are supposed to go in there. I keep draining that income account and putting the percentages where they're supposed to go. I'm going to be coming up on my quarterly celebration point really soon here. And that's where I'll divvy up the overages. Yeah. But I mean, I'm trying to buy as much real estate, long-term real estate as possible myself. And so this is my way of getting to that point, because I'm a spender. I'm like everybody else. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not super smart. I'm just like an average guy. I need some kind of system. Like I said, we have a system for like everything in our business to make money. And a lot of us don't have the system to keep the money. And I think that's where the hole is. And that's why I wanted to bring this to you guys today. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Doesn't it give you more confidence, right? Gives you more confidence when you're not scraping by and wondering how you're going to make it that next month, and to have those reserves. And if you're a single agent, I was in a class yesterday and we had a long talk about when you have those reserves, that desperateness goes away and your closing ratio will actually go up, because people can sense desperation. Right. So absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Oh, cool. Was that
What grade are they, by the way?
like yesterday's material? I knew, like, but stuff I just did myself. I mean, I don't work Detroit here and there, but there's no money in that.
I don't see
for
how.
sales. Oh,